I'm Old Head Ed.
And I'm Mr. Beleaf. And we like to welcome y'all to Barcodes. Barcodes is a podcast where we delve into the lyrics of your favorite MCs, verse by verse.
Each episode, we invite an artist onto the show,
break down their own bars, and give the listeners a deeper understanding of the meaning and inspiration behind their music.
From underground up-and-comers to established industry veterans.
We cover it all. So join us as we explore the art of MCing and the stories behind the bars on Barcodes.
Yo, it's the Barcodes.
We back again.
The podcast.
You already know.
Yeah, man, we're back for another episode. I am Old Head Ed on the other end of the table.
Beleaf. You
Yes,
already
sir.
know Mr. Beleaf.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You already know, if you've been here before, you already know what we do. We get an esteemed MC to sit down and talk lyrics with us, go over a verse of choice, go line for line, figure out all the nuances that go into putting together a rhyme, the inspiration and all the insight that we might be missing, that might go over our head. We don't have liner notes like back in my day, so you can't sit there and take your time and write and read the verses. Remember back in the days, am I getting too old? I think I'm getting too old for the room.
Yeah, hold on, man. You talking about like the Nickelodeon movies or something?
So this is I like to consider this like a version of the liner notes where you could actually see the lyrics on the back of a CD. You open up the fold on the CD.
The books, the little, I do miss those too.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. We give the MC a chance to unpack the bars, give us, like I said earlier, the insight and the inspiration behind these joints, and yeah, man. Once again, without fail, another week we have another esteemed MC. We got none other than Big G, GNP Arrow.
Yeah, GNP Arrow, Big G, what they do, man. It's good to be here, man. I'm glad to be here. Great fucking podcast. I love the idea, so I just love that y'all running with it, man. It's a beautiful thing. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for coming by, man.
Appreciate that.
You know
yes.
Long overdue.
Word. Definitely. Part of Watch Wolves.
Hell yeah.
Yes. So Beleaf might be a little more familiar with this gentleman than I am, but
yes. I've known this guy for a little
15, 20 years almost. Like, it's been a minute.
About 20 years. 20 years.
Crazy.
Nice, yo. That's dope. And that's dope. It's good to see the collective stand the test of time. You know
it's
what I'm
easy
saying?
when you have the friendship, you feel me, besides the music. So I think a lot of people, that happens when they just become friends through the music. I think we became friends through the music, but then we created a friendship outside
beyond
of
the music.
Yeah, that helps.
Great strategy.
Definitely. So what did you bring us today, man?
The one I picked today is a track I did called "It's Just Different." It's kind of like they labeled it freestyle, but it's like a verse. You feel me? It's not a real freestyle, but it's called "It's Just Different" freestyle. I picked this one because it's just the subjects that I spoke about, very relatable. What's going on with me and how I look at shit and how I want people to know how to look at me.
Okay, it gives you some insight on you and okay.
It just reminding people, you feel me? Because I hop in and out. I dibble and dabble because I do so many other things. So I'm not always 100 pushing the music, but I'm always doing it. So it's one of those tracks, you know.
All right, so like when you wrote this, do you remember when and where and like what motivated you to write it?
I think it was Mowgli was doing something, and I went over there and he was finishing up a project or probably or art. And I think, just leaving the studio, you're just like, fuck. It's like when you watch a movie like Fade to Black or Up in Smoke or any of those shit, you go home like, yo, I want to fucking make something right now. You feel me? So I think I went home, I got fucked up, and it was like 3 a.m, probably like in my boxes and shit. And I got like a little studio in the closet, so I just went up there, hit the mic, and I did it on one shot. I like always spit like one take. I know I shouldn't, but I like doing that shit. And it's just one of those tracks. I was just speaking my mind, Like
just to get it out of you, like it was just an idea that came to you, and
it
you
also
just wanted to knock
therapeutic.
it out.
I've always done this shit for me. I mean, I've always done it, because of the art and the whole, the demographic, the genre, what it is for, and all that, in this business.
Yeah.
But it's my therapy. For me, it's my diary. I speak my mind, and then sometimes I can't do that in person, so I do it on here easier or better.
Yeah, it's very relatable to any. Most MCs do it like for that. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I guess we're gonna jump right into it, man. Sure. Like,
so you know the routine, man. We'll get through about four bars, 4 lines, 4 bars, and then we'll go back and we'll have you kind of break that down, and then we'll jump in with our opinions or our insight in between. So yeah, man, let's get into it. It's just different. Big G.
Well, basically, I start off with the title. I say it's just different, boy. Watch rules, you can't ignore it. Been on the low a while, now it's about to start pouring. It's very basic. I mean, it's true because of art and Mowgli, their consistency. For me, when I take my little hiatus breaks when I'm working on other projects and shit outside of music, it allows me to easily to hop back in and out because the wolves stay active. You feel me? So
yeah.
In this line, I say, watch rules, you can't ignore it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't ignore us, dog. I know you hear it. You feel me? Like I know
it's consistent.
Yeah, we hear it.
Very consistent.
Here. And I've been on the low a while, so it's about to start pouring. Like, cause I never stop. Like, I'm not out in the scene, but by music, like I do that shit all the time. I'm always writing and I'm always around it, so I'm always creating. I'm just not always putting out. But I strike strategically usually. So when I do, I have so much product.
There's an impact when you.
So basically, that line is just basically that. Like, hey, we've been on the low, but it's about to start pouring, and that right leads into the next line that says, "We storm the gates while they sleep, catch them boys snoring. This is fate, I believe. I'm so sure of it."
I like the way that you jumped in, coming right off the back of it's about to start pouring. Storm the gates.
Yeah, storm.
Yeah, so you tied
it. Play of the words.
Yeah, dope. I like that.
So obviously I use that, but it's basically very simple and very straightforward. It's kind of like we about to bum brush this shit because we have product. Like even this, all of us, like the Wolf artists, like we've always created when we're not even in the scene, and we have like, I got all these verses here. Like I'm pretty sure all MCs have that. You know what I'm saying? But I think we stay with it. So.
It's been a 20-year run,
Yeah.
Like even though there's like been a gap, there was stuff now, being released.
I think what's helping out, we learning how to package and deliver it better, and that's a big important thing. Like it don't matter how old or the track is to you, you
like
showcase
somebody.
it and present it again. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's not old to them, it's new.
Yeah.
And if it's good, it's good, man.
So
good music is timeless.
Yeah, exactly. So. Basically, that's what it is. And when I said this is fate, I believe I'm so sure of it. It's because we've been doing this for a minute, and I've done it. I did some big things when I was in Vegas a couple years back, and I kind of fucked some things up with that. And, I'm here now, but that line basically says, I'm so sure of it because this is fate. I've seen it, and it leads up to the next one. I got a taste of the green, and now I want some more of it. Like I did it. I know. I like that shit. I want that shit, but then I also learned what not to do.
Gotcha.
In the same sense. That's why I said, but the game made me see you got to sell your soul for it. And in this game, well, not so much now because more independence, but before it was kind of like, you got to do this and sign to a label, a whole bunch of other bullshit. You kind of compromise it, and that's been the hard part because you get good opportunities, but they want you to do this. I'm like, fuck that. It's like.
So it comes down to like a conundrum there where you're asking yourself. Yes. It's like, in order to make this money, do I sell myself?
Or do you stay true to your shit? And sometimes that loses opportunities, but you got to stay with integrity. So it's like, it's hard.
If you don't mind, could you can you dive deeper into the Vegas thing? Because I'm pretty sure people want to know since you kind of brought it up.
When I started, it was like TCP, Total Control Productions. I still roll with them color tracks, but I had shit happen in my life, and I have family in Vegas. 'Cause I was born in LA originally, but I was raised here in Cutler Ridge. So shit went down, and I went over there to visit, and I just stayed for like 4 years or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I went out there dolo. Like I had a crew, but when I went out there, I was by myself. But I created TCP West, and I was like presenting myself like some shit. No one knows shit about me, so I was like perfect, like smoke and mirrors type shit. So I started buzzing out there, created a little local scene connection. I started doing shows, and I got kind of morphed into like throwing shows and promoting events instead of like rapping because I didn't have nobody with me.
Yeah. So you kind of like morphed into like a promoter.
Yeah, but I did good things. I flew y'all boys out there. We did shows out there, WP and TCP. So I did good shit, but I wasn't ready. It was like rock style, lifestyle. I was going to hotel parties and crazy shit I'd never done. I'm from like Cutler Ridge in the country shit, small little town, and go to Vegas, it's 100 miles an hour. And I got the plugs, drugs, partying.
So you had to slow it down.
Yeah, well, I fucked it all up. And then, once I came back here and rebuilt it, everything, I just kind of learned from all that. And that's why all these lines, it's kind of like both of the lines that I've been saying kind of adds up to what I say. Like, this game made me see you got to give your soul for it. I'm like, nah, man, fuck all that shit. I made my own path with this whole rap shit, meaning it started with rap because that's what I've always loved. But because I started this, it got me into designing. It got me into graphic arts, got me into making shirts, because in the beginning, because of rap, I needed those things. Mm-hmm. I always had ideas, but I had to go to somebody. So I started cutting the middleman out, because we've always been total control. You feel me? Like, I do everything ourselves. Like, we don't need the outside help.
Yeah. No, that's dope that you, and I'm sure now with technology has afforded the younger crowd, or maybe people coming up and find themselves in that position now, having the flexibility to do that. But back then,
we had YouTube,
you back then, I have to applaud the fact that you was one of the people that was able to spot that there was, you saw there was a necessity, and you didn't want to rely on anybody. So instead of you going, I'm gonna pay this dude to do this or this person to do that, it's like you took it upon yourself to learn it and do it well enough where now that created a whole other avenue beyond the rap shit. So
even the style of music that when I started was TCP. We did a lot of like melodic R&B shit for bitches and shit like that. It was not your typical down south crunk shit. People wanted Dirty South 305 shit,
especially around that time.
That era. It was like Little John crunk shit. It was fucking Atlanta Bone Crusher, like
that's
that
an
kind of
all-time high.
And then we come out singing, doing different shit. They're like, it was good, but it was like, that's like some different shit. But now, how funny, like, that's what it is right now. Everyone's singing on this shit.
You can't escape it now.
Melodic on everything. You feel me? So going back to this, I said, this is fate, I believe. I'm so sure of it. I got a taste of the green. Now I want some more of it. But this game made me see you got to give your soul for it. Nah, fuck all that shit. I made my own path, dog, with this whole rap shit. It's my own tracks that help me get past this. I write for the soul. I don't write for the masses.
Which is important.
That's G. I'm always like, I don't care what they want to hear. I want you to hear me.
Yeah.
Rewind that shit right there. I like that. I like those last 4 bars. That shit is dope, yo.
But it's G shit.
All right, so respit those last 4 bars for me.
I said, but this game made me see you got to give your soul for it. Nah, man, fuck all that shit. I made my own path, dog, with this whole rap shit, because it's my own tracks that help me get past this. I write for the soul. I don't write for the masses.
Yeah.
And I've got caught up in, damn, what do they want to hear? Should I make a track for the bitches? Should I do it? I've been in that position. We all have, because even Nas, you know, when he did his little Genuine track, like, you get caught up in it because you think that's what they want. But throughout the years, now, because hip-hop's gotten so open, we can now do your own shit. Yeah. Because you can create your own avenue now with the way music is.
Yeah, there's a market for everybody. Yo, like I be trying to explain to a lot of people out there that ask me about, you know, the show and stuff like that. And I tell them, I'm like, look, you know, we're here to celebrate bars. You know what I mean? And there's gonna be people here that you might not feel one day. Like, you know what I'm saying? There might be this person or that person, but the truth of the matter is we're here to celebrate all bars. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? As long as there's some lyrical content in it.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And it's like there's different vibes and different markets for everybody.
We're like matchmakers. We're gonna find the MC for you.
It's like, well, look, art and food,
Spotify,
like art stuff and food is the same way. Like, who's wrong? Because you like medium, rare. You like rare, and I like well done. Like, that motherfucker,
it's preference. It's preference.
So it's
for sure.
I've learned that with albums. I've asked people, "What's your favorite song?" They tell me, I'm like, "Boy, that's like my least favorite." Like, really?
Yes.
Like, you don't like this one? Like,
I'm sure those stories are like plentiful. Even from the most successful people, they can tell you the one story of where they don't understand why the masses like this one track so much as to when they were recording, they couldn't stand it. But they did it and everybody loved it.
But look, the silver lining with that, it goes both ways. Because I had my failures and successions in different parts, but it allowed me to see and realize these things and now think that way. Some people, they blow up and they don't realize that till later, and they get stuck in that certain thing, and they find out later after, and it could go bad either way. You could either be successful, and then you like, fuck, you got stuck doing this kind of shit that's not your shit, that you don't love, but that's what you got famous for.
Yeah.
Or, in the other hand, it happens this way, and instead of thinking it's like failure, you kind of use it, and now you think that way. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that's what I used it as. it used to hit me different. I used to, get down on myself.
I feel like Q-Tip, that shit happened to Q-Tip with Vibrant Thing. You know what I'm saying? Once Vibrant Thing became a hit, then like the next one was formed
the rest of his.
He just kept on going with that kind of style, which kind of lost the tribe
essence of tribe. The essence of
Q-Tip. Did the same shit.
Yeah.
Mr. Cheeks didn't do like Ready for Action, Lights Camera.
No, but that joint was dope.
But it wasn't his like.
But you could tell it was a departure from every other Lost Boys. Yeah.
You could tell his brother was gone. He just like going somewhere, but it happens. But that's why I say that line, because I now feel content, and that's why now I'm like, I have no pressure no more, and I create better, I think, because I do it for me now. Like,
yeah. Word.
Whatever
And you
comes
always
out.
gonna be you.
And some people are like, yo, you always write like sad shit. Like, hey, that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
When you hear me talking about bitches, I'm probably fucking bitches. You hear me talking about flipping? I'm probably flipping. If I usually try to keep very like.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I'm talking about construction.
Yes, exactly. Cinder blocks.
Yeah. So leading up to that, I said, I write for the masses. I said, I write for the soul, I don't write for the masses, but they still want more, so I'm going to add up the math quick. GNP, pressing logos, dog, all up in fabrics. I mean, that's just self-explanatory. Like, if the music wasn't enough, they still going to want more, so I'm like, fuck it. All right, I found that I can give you some more shit. So I give you the next thing I can provide. I'm pressing logos on motherfucking fabric because I know rappers need it, and I was always with that. And I'm like, yo, I can get in on this.
Again, one of those moments where you're like, do we go pay somebody else to do this, or do I learn how to do it myself, and then even find another
look how
avenue?
it happened. The reason it happened, my boy Cam from TCP, he came out with me to Vegas, and we were out there. So I'm like, cool. He was my guy who hits record. He's the guy who makes all my ideas come to life on Photoshop. He was the, hey, I got this idea. He make it happen. And then we were out there. We started making moves, and he gets to go on tour with Locos Por Juan at the time. He's like, I gotta go on a Midwest tour, and I'm like, awesome. Like, fuck. And he dips on me. I'm like, I don't know how to record. I don't know how to mix. I don't know how to edit Photoshop. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? So I'll have IT every night. Like, yo, Cam, how do you highlight this? Or whatever the fuck. So that led to me getting into graphics and learning on my own because I had nobody else in Vegas. Dolo. Like I had mad family out there, but they all do like tow truck mechanic, not in the music business.
Nothing in the sling. Yeah.
Wow. So I always the GNP.
I always I think Orion recently just dropped something in on Instagram or something where he stated that, you know, like it's like a guide for artists.
It's the unsolicited advice.
Unsolicited advice.
Shout out to Orion.
Shout out to Orion. When he mentions that, you know, like at this point, you know, you got to have your own setup. You got to know how to operate your shit, because if you don't, you know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man, we're in a different time now, you know?
Yeah.
So like, but back then that you were coming into that mindset because you were like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Your man was in another, doing his thing, touring, and you were like, all right, well, I need to figure this shit out, and that's probably.
Plus, we also at that time we always thought like if you didn't do this by this age, like you didn't succeed, or if you didn't do this by this time, like now we know like nah, man, there's no like actual like time, like you do it when you can do it. You're never too late. You're not here. You feel me?
Well, we were just going off of what happened to all the 80 rappers. You know what I'm saying? Because all the 80s, let's keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? Like all the 80s rappers, with the exception of, you know, like LL and, you know what I'm saying, a chosen few that stood the test of time. But the majority of them, after a certain age, was just like Hollywood, like cut off. You know what I mean? So like we were in that mindset, like, you know, a lot of artists were. Yeah. But all right, so let's run into the next four, bro.
All right, so I said GNP pressing logos on fabrics, and I said I'm a G, R-I-N-D addict. Like I speak that R&B shit, but with this flow, I'm a savage. So basically, when I said I'm a G, you know, that's like a term that we use. Like I'm a G, but also my initials is G, my middle initial is G, and my last initial is G. So I'm a G from birth. You feel me? Like, I was born a G, but then I use the G and R-I-N-D. addict. Like I'll be addicted to grinding. Like even if I'm not succeeding this, I'm on to the next. Like that didn't work, what's next? I've done editing, I do shirts, I do graphic designs, music, I fucking, like I said, I'll babysit your kids. You need me to fuck, I do dentistry, whatever. Like I hustle. So that's always been my thing. And I think it's because my OGs, you know, came from a poor background, and then he also was disabled, so he only had one eye. So he was always like against the grain and always kind of like
taught you that hustle.
Yeah, and because everybody always looked at him like, oh, you know, you're not gonna do shit. You're like from the streets. You got like my grandfather used to be like, you got one eye. What are you gonna provide for my dog? Like type shit. Like, so he probably was always against the grain, and because of that, I think he gave me that. But also his mouth, man. Like you can put us in any room and we just adapt. Like I think I have that myself. Like
got you. I
can adapt to the environment, and I think that's like my riches. I have loyalty and friendship and companionship that I meet, because when I make that bond, I keep it real and I read energy. So if that shit don't match, you're not coming around. Like your expiration date. You're cool, but like I know by this time you gotta go. Or I do.
Yeah.
So I think that line, that's why I said that. Like I'm a G, R&D addict, because I keep going, and I said I speak that R&B shit because like I told you, always came out doing that shit. And then I also did Shade of Grey Code. I did a collaboration with a buddy from Vegas, shout out to St. P, and it was like R&B based album. And so I said I speak that R&B shit, but with this flow, I'm a savage. So when I speak, You go norm, no average. Eagle eye looking to eat, sweep them up with the talents. It's just basically like metaphorically being like, yo, don't sleep. Like, I'm good with the R&B shit, but just because I do a lot of that, don't think. And that's why lately I've been hitting with these one verses, because I did so much R&B shit. I was jumping into ciphers, and I was like, damn, I have mad verses, but they're like, yo, baby girl, show you this. I'm like,
so I
You
need a couple little
yeah.
pow, pow. Like, and I used to have those in pocket, and then I realized that that's why lately I've been just like, let me just make sure y'all know.
Yeah. You want to give them a little reminder.
Because that's what I always stood out in TCP, like, because the boys always do all that shit, and they would bring that R&B shit, and that's their style, you feel me? But I was always the one that, like, freestyle. I was always the one, like, battling. I was, like, spitting. So I was kind of, like, in my eyes, I was like, damn, I have mad bars still, but I was, like, they're all a lot of, like you know, R&B shit. So that line basically saying, you know, I speak that R&B shit, but just flow. I'm a savage, eagle eye looking to eat, sweep them up with the talents. It's a feast for all the times we ain't had it. VIP, and it only be family. And that's true. People that know me, you know, I'm like small circle. Like,
going back to you reading energies and you,
I have like my people, and I have like, you know how it is. It's tiers of shit. So I got my circle, man, and I got the next bracket. And, you know, you only know so much, and then out here, you know this much, and that's how it works. But I've always been very to myself. I don't like people knowing shit, and
which is the true meaning of VIP, is a very important person. It's like it's the person, the people that you want around you are the VIP, because those are the important people.
And that segues up to the next few lines, basically how I think now, because we spoke about now, this age of failure and all the shit that happens in life is why I speak the way I do now, saying, and it only be family, this is me. So y'all understand me. I don't do it for fame, no loot, not chasing the Grammy, this for you. So when I'm no longer standing, just some truth, like, I always been talking what I do. Like, you're gonna hear me in my life. Like, you can go back and you hear my story. And I've always kept it kind of. I always try to keep it a buck and very like me. And so the lines kind of like speak for itself. And that's kind of why I said that shit.
And I like when you hear the song, when you actually hear the song, it's the two declarations. This is me, which sets up the next three lines.
Right.
This for you. You're making declarations.
And that's one thing with my bars. Like, it's not always like super like metaphorically punchlines, but it's the delivery also, and that's important. So obviously right now, but when you hear the track, like, that's also a big impact, because it's how you deliver it, and the feeling in it is what brings these words even more alive. You feel me? So after y'all hear this shit and y'all go hear the track, you know, go drop a comment and shit, go like the song, share that shit. And that leads up to what? I said, there's some truth. I said, so when I'm no longer standing, just some truth, narrating what's happening, what they do. You already know what's cracking, man. You know G a wolf, GNP, G in that pack, bitch. Once again, like, I'm very straightforward. So I speak what I see and what I'm around, so I'm just narrating what's happening, you feel me? So that's why I said that shit. Like, I just telling you what I see, dog, and I'm just narrating what I fucking experienced and shit that I've been around. What they do, like, you already know what's up. I'm like, you know G a wolf, like, because I'm a wolf now, and I'm GNP because my brand is GNP Arrow, and that's my middle name. If you read it, GNP Arrow. My middle name is Giovanni Giampiero Gonzalez. So
gotcha.
I made GNP Arrow for that. And then when I was looking at it, I was like, yo, GNP, G in the pack. I'm like, oh shit, it fit for the last line. Like, G in the pack, bitch, and that's it. And that's basically, it's just different, man.
You wrapped it up perfectly. You're like, yo, that's it. It's just different.
It's just different, which brings us back full circle to the title of the joint. It's just different.
The freestyle.
Yes, sir.
Ironically,
yes, sir.
it's basically like me. Like, it's the same sound you've heard, but it's different. And that's, I think, like, how I am. Like, it's like restaurant. You know, I've had a pizza, but what the fuck? This was like bomb. Like, why? It's just different. Like, they got that little different to it,
vibe to it.
I've already seen it, but like, I added like, just it's different, motherfucker.
Big G, where can they keep up with you?
Check it out at GNP Arrow. Basically, all platforms, you can find me there. You feel me? We're doing a revamp of the page now because I'm branding out to so much things. But you can find me on SoundCloud, GNP Arrow, same thing, Twitter and everything, Tumblr, every fucking thing. You just GNP Arrow. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And watch Rules. Anything Rules related, color tracks related, we're there. I'm all over. It's our family. So we make moves. Or find me here. I'm on Barcodes. I'm on Plancha. I'm on fucking everywhere, man.
He everywhere.
Go here.
That's it. And while you're at it and you're in the following mood, you get into a subscribing, comment, sharing, and liking mood. Y'all know the details. Beleaf will put it all over here. It's all delete the screen somewhere there. The magic of technology. Another episode of Barcodes. Big G, thank you so much. Great feeling.
Catch us
Y'all
on
stay tuned.
Barcodes.
Yes, sir.
It's just different, boy. Watch fools, you can't ignore it. Been on the low a while. Now it's about to start pouring. Storm the gates while they sleep, man. Catch them boys snowing. This is fate, I believe. I'm so sure they got a taste of the green. Now I want some more of it. This game made me see you gotta give your soul for it. Nah, fuck all that shit, man. I mean my old path, though. With this whole rap shit. And it's my own tracks to help me get past this. I write for the soul, I don't write for the masses, but they still want more. So I'ma add up this math quick. GNP, pressing logos, dog, all up on fabrics. I'm a G. Alright, ND addict, speak that R&B shit, but with this flow I'm a savage. When I speak, you gon' know I'm no average. Eagle eye looking to eat, sweep him up with the talents. It's a feast for all the times we ain't had it. VIP, and it only be family. This is me. So y'all understand me, I don't do it for fame, no loot, not chasing the Grammy, this for you. So when I'm no longer standing, this so true. Narrating what's happening, what they do. You already know what's cracking, man, you know G a wolf, GNPG in that pack, bitch. Where they at, where they at? Cut the bridge, boy, 305, where they at? GNP, B.I.G. Cut the track shit.